Hello, beautiful people. It's Beks Thompson here. And for those of you that don't know me, I work with women primarily to help them create the impact that they want, get out of those self-sabotaging fears, doubts, uncertainty, worry about overwhelm, lack of mojo, so that they can do what they love, make the impact that they want without having to compromise their health and well-being. And one of the biggest things that we come across, isn't it, that gets in the way is the mind. And in yoga, we call this the monkey mind. So I wanted to talk today about some of the traps that we can fall in with the mind and the 3 top tools and how to apply them, which is very important, to minimize the havoc that your mind can play, because especially right now when we are being given so much different information and so many different things are happening in the world, because there's some chaos happening, right? There's some duality happening in order to create something new. And I know that a lot of you are feeling that, but it's really important right now that we are very aware of the power of the mind and not to get caught into that, because I've noticed some strong patterns coming back, and that is exactly what they are. Your mind gets caught into strong patterning, and if you are not awake and aware and alert and have the tools to deal with that, you are likely to go off down into one of those mental whirlpool paths, and that is not good, as you have probably found out in your life. So if you're jumping on now, just let me know that you're here. If you're watching this in one of the replays that we might share to another one of our pages, then let me know if yes, you are aware that your mind can create havoc. Like I say, we call it the monkey mind, and it can be very manipulative and very tricky. So if you're watching, let me know that you relate to this and where you're watching from today. On this, I'm in Queensland, very beautiful day today. So let's get clear about what doesn't cause suffering, anxiety. What else? I just had a little mental block there. What doesn't cause suffering, anxiety, worry, anything else, or even happiness, joy, abundance? What doesn't create that is your current situation. It's not the people in your life. It is not the lack of or the abundance of things or money or books or anything else in your life. It is none of that. That is not what creates your joy, your happiness, your abundance, your pain, or your suffering. What does create that is, first of all, your mind and what your mind believes about your current situation. And then it's not just that mental thought. The next thing is what you do with that information. How do you then feel about what the mind is telling you? That is the most important thing. And this is the connection we need to really break. Your mind is going to continue to tell you stuff, probably no matter what. But what you do with that information is the most important thing. Because how you feel is what you create. What you think can inform how you feel. But how you feel is what is creating your experience and is creating your happiness or not, your peace or not. And the problem is your mind is limited. Your mind has a limited capacity. It has a limited capacity for understanding. That's the nature of the mind. It can only understand and gain knowledge about what it knows, about what it thinks it knows, and based through this filter of what your past experiences have been. Right? So once we know that, we understand that the mind is finite and it is always trying to protect itself, trying to minimize risk and trying to keep itself safe. And so it's the allegiance with the mind and then allowing yourself to feel whatever the mind is telling you, saying it's scary out there, it's fearful, you don't have enough, you need to do this, you should be doing this, they're doing that, why aren't you doing that? This isn't fair, I'm getting less than them, this is scary, all of these different things. What you feel based on that mind is really important. So how do you stop your mind from getting you to feel, imposing its will on you, so that you start to feel not safe, so that you start to feel overwhelmed, so that you start to feel, unsure, lack of clarity, make decisions and actions based on that. We don't want that. So how do we stop that? It's important to find something that is more infinite, has a greater potential than the limitations of the mind, that is not conditional on current situation, that is not conditional on what you have or don't have, right? So what do we do? We need to understand that peace and calm and clarity is an unwavering state that is ever present within you, but it is not the mind. And it is not the stuff. It is not the situation. It's not the mind. It is not even the awareness telling you about that and commenting and going, oh, I see this is happening. I see this is happening. It's not even that. It is something beyond that, behind that, that is unwavering. And that's what we need to tap into, so that we can use the mind in a way that is helpful and not be run by the mind. And especially not allow ourselves to feel a certain way because of what the mind is telling us. So what are the 3 top ways to access this presence that is beyond the mind, where unwavering peace, unwavering clarity resides no matter what our situation is? Because if you want to make an impact in the world that is based on something higher and not in a reactionary way to what is going on around you, then we need to do that. Because when we act in a reactionary way, which is based on fear or ignorance or just not knowing, then that is the very quick path to burnout, to exhaustion, to overreaching, or to shutting down and putting fingers in maybe too many pies, or over, working in one way, whatever it is, whatever your tendencies are. So there are 3 key things, and it's quite important to do them, I believe, in a specific order, so that you really have the maximum impact on the mind. So the first thing is mantra. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I love mantra, and particularly Sanskrit mantra, because we are so in stories in our head that we need something to cut through. And mantra is something that you can take anywhere. And Sanskrit mantra in particular has and sets up a resonance within you to shatter the obstacles of whatever it is that you are currently thinking or holding in contraction or tension in your body. So there are many Sanskrit mantras out there. I think on my page today, on my personal page, I've shared a mantra, Om Dum Durgaye Namaha, which is a goddess-based mantra, but you can always do your own research as to what mantra works for you. They will have different flavors and themes. But because it's Sanskrit, your mind can't quite wrap itself around it. So once it gets hooked into the mantra, it loses its hook on whatever that thought or belief was. Right? So mantra is the first thing, and it really is a primary tool for the mind to release those hooks and start to move you into a state of peace and non-resistance with what is. Quieten that monkey down. All right. And then from there, once you've got a degree of relinquishing of the mind, you can move to an embodied presence state. So this is not just meditation and sort of sitting back. This is coming out of the mind, which is up and forward in that reasoning mind, and coming back and down in the body. And there are a number of areas and places that you can, hold presence in the body. I work a lot in the pelvic center and in womb space for women and harder for men, because it's an area that we don't hang out in very often, right? It's an area where you can connect with life force, creativity, intuition, peace and safety. So great place to center, but there are other areas, center of the heart, center of the back of the head. But the importance is back, in and down, hugging towards the spine, an embodied presence. So we're not escaping reality. We are present with what is and holding a state of non-resistance to what is. This is blending and merging spirit and matter. You're a human being. We need presence here. And in this place, the mind can do its thing, but you're not grasping on the mind. The monkey's playing, but it can't get to anything. And you got to see and feel this sense of calm and clarity that is unwavering. So mantra, embodied presence. And the third thing, and again, good to do in this order, is now to come into self-inquiry. If you come into self-inquiry too early, you can kid yourself that you're in inquiry mode rather than just being in your mind and going round and round and round in circles in your mind. So mantra, embodied presence, and then into self-inquiry means that you are sitting back, and when you drop those questions into your awareness, I describe it like dropping a pebble into a pond and just watching the ripples going out, rather than chasing after a question like running after your dog that's gone off the lead. All right, very different feeling. So when you come into self-inquiry, what are you asking? You're asking things like, is that thought that I'm thinking, is that feeling that I'm feeling, what is that? Is that true? What is underneath that feeling? How am I really feeling? How do I know that that's 100% true? Is there another possibility? Yeah, those kind of like open questions, very light, just holding things lightly rather than seeking for a particular answer, like worrying something. Sitting back, pebble in the pond, watching the ripples come out, a relaxed questioning. You know, if you've got into the mind, if you feel yourself contract and come forward into that busyness of the mind of trying to work something out. When we move into self-inquiry, it's a relaxation back and staying in that sense of relaxation as you inquire. And that's why doing the mantra and then an embodied presence, sort of meditative state, and then self-inquiry is a way to do it. If you get into this trap of just doing self-inquiry, you can just easily get stuck in the mind. And who does that? Who has a question that they want to get answered and just get stuck going round and round and round in a loop on the mind? Let me know if that's you. So I hope that's been really helpful today, just giving some, we all need to hear these things again and again and again, and it's about simplicity, mantra, embodied presence, self-inquiry, so that you don't let that mind run havoc with you, especially with so much information coming in right now. So, if you are interested in learning more deeply these techniques, because they are things that we can skate over on the personal and spiritual development path and think we're doing them, but not really going deep enough or consistent enough to really make the difference. It's about building the muscle of it happening almost without you knowing. It's unconscious competence, so that it's just something that happens within you. And until that happens, these things just don't happen, right? So we have some different events and that kind of thing coming up to really go deeper with this work. So if it's something that you're called to, just reach out to me, either in the message below or PM me, or have a look on my business page as to what events we have coming up, both online and in person, to really master some of these techniques and other techniques around holding an unwavering presence, so that you can get really calm, you can get really clear, and you can hold confidence in what it is that you are being called to do right now, and not keep falling back because the mind can't work out what it needs to do, or you're getting reactionary, getting stressed, losing energy, vital energy. We don't want that, right? So if you're looking for something else, then do reach out and check out what we have coming up. We have June the 23rd online and July the 21st in Brisbane, Art of Brilliance Without Burnout, where we'll be teaching you these tools. So do check them out and let us know if you need any more information about that. Amazing. All right, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you again soon.